Alright guys, what's going on? It's Dan here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to overclock your AMD graphics card. Now unfortunately this does only work for AMD and it will not work for Nvidia, but there are probably quite a few videos out there showing you guys how to overclock the Nvidia graphics card, but like I said, today it will be just for your AMD. Now, first thing we are going to go ahead and do is download Valley Benchmarks. Now, I will leave a link in the description down below for you guys to go ahead and download this. It's basically just a benchmarking software. Now, I've already got this, so I don't need to go ahead and download it again. Now, once you have downloaded this, you need to open Valley Benchmark and run your first benchmark without doing any overclocking whatsoever. Now, if you feel like you've got quite a high-end graphics card, then basically copy these settings I've got on screen. If you feel like you've got quite a low-end graphics card, then change that down to either medium or high, and then run the test. Now, once you've clicked run, make sure once it's loaded, you click F9. And once you've done that, close it down and then right click on your home page and click AMD Radeon Settings. First thing we need to do is make sure you've got the updates. Now click on new update, or it will say updates, and then check for updates. Make sure this new recommended is the same as currently installed. I would leave the optional alone for now and I'll just go off what it says as recommended. Once you've done that, click on gaming, global settings, and click global Wattman. This is all the settings we are going to be changing to increase the overclock on your graphics card. Now first of all, I'd highly recommend clicking on the maximize button just to make it a little bit bigger and make it easier to work with. So it does look a little bit confusing, but it's not that complicated when you go through it step by step. The first thing we're going to go ahead and do is go on the GPU speed. So as you can see, the current speed is 600 MHz. Now obviously we're not actually we're on idle at the moment, so it's not going to be working the graphics card too much. But when we run that the benchmarks again, that's when the current speed will be going up really high. So the first thing we're going to do is on the frequency, change this bar so it's at 3.5. We'll start it off at 3.5 and we can increase it as we go on throughout the benchmarks. Then down here where it says voltage control and it says auto, change that to manual, and on all of these just type in 1000 and then click enter. 1000. Make sure once you type it in, make sure you click enter to actually allow it to register. And then do this one as well, and then I would leave the last three at 1150. Once you've done that, make sure you click apply in the top right. You always need to click apply, otherwise it just won't affect the graphics card. Once you've done that, scroll down to fan and temperature. Now it says here speed / temperature. I would change that to manual, and on here is a little bit of a graph. Now what it basically does is saying that when the graphics card hits 85 degrees, it's going to run the fans at 92%, and when it hits 30 degrees, it's going to run the fans at 38%. What I'd highly recommend is putting this all the way up to 100. Basically what it's saying is when you're playing a game, which is when it'll reach 85, the fans need to be at 100%, and when you're down here at like 30 degrees, which is idle, you need the fans to be quiet and silent as possible, because obviously you don't want to hear the fans when you're just on idle. So what I normally do is tend to put this at about 40 degrees and 40%. Mess around with it, whatever sounds good for you, put it as that. Now make sure, like I said, on this first one, make sure that when it's on idle, you can't hear the fans at all. So for mine, 40 degrees, 40%, when you click apply, you could start to hear the fans if the fans are quite loud at 40%. Put it all the way down to like 35, 36%, click apply again, and just make sure that this first little dot is at a percent where you don't hear the fans. Obviously these I would just leave as they are. You can actually change them if you want, change them to like a little bit more of a higher graph. So as the temperature increases, the fans will start to increase, and again make sure you always click apply in the top right hand corner. Leaving this on the 0 RPM, I'd leave that turned on. Power limit, change that all the way up to 50. I don't know why it's on 0. If you put it up to 50, it's basically saying that you're going to get more voltage to the graphics card. That's exactly what you want when you're overclocking, and once again, click apply in the top right. Leave all the rest as it is, so leave that as it is and leave that on. And like I said, make sure this is on manual, and you can adjust these however you want them. If you find that when you're running a game and it hits 85% and 100% is too loud, drop it down to let's say 95, 90, whatever you guys prefer. This is where you can like change the speeds and the temperatures of your graphics card. I like leaving it on 40% at 40 degrees and 85 degrees at 100%. So once you've done that, again, make sure you hit apply in the top right. Then we're going to be scrolling down to memory. Now first of all, change this voltage control onto, if it says automatic, make sure you change it to manual, and again at the end number put in 1000 and click enter. And then on here it says here 2000. We're going to change this to let's say 2000 to 100 for now, 2105, 2100, that'll do. Now make sure this doesn't actually change here. This won't change until you're actually running the benchmark. Once you've done that, click apply and then run your benchmark once again, and you will see the FPS and the max FPS is a lot higher than what it was when you weren't overclocking the graphics card. Now once you've done that, once you've done the test, come back into this and let's say change the frequency to 4% and run it again and see if it's increased, change it to 4.5, see if it's increased, and basically keep doing that until you've found that perfect sweet spot for your graphics card. It will be different for different graphics cards, so don't just copy what I say. Like I said, run this test. If you find it's a lot better, put this up to 4.5. If it's a lot better, put it up again. If it's worse, put it back down. Making sure that the current temperature is always at a decent temperature, and you can check that by here where it says peak. Make sure this temperature doesn't go above 85 degrees and you guys will be perfectly fine to overclock your graphics card. So again, make sure you always click apply in the top right. And if you guys do actually have any problems, all you guys need to do is either save the profile if you want to save the overclocking profile, or if you feel like you've hit a problem and it's cutting the graphics card out too much, hit that reply and hit that reset and click yes, and it'll put it back to the reset normal default settings. So again, make sure you do this. Make sure you just constantly running that benchmark, put it up maybe 1%, run the benchmark, put the frequency up another percent and run the benchmark. Just keep doing that until you find that sweet spot. Don't put it up too high. I'd highly recommend not going any higher than 5% for the frequency. Just make sure you hit that sweet spot and you guys will get a really good overclocking GPU. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was quite informal. Hopefully you guys actually learned something from it. If you guys are struggling, just come back and watch this video step by step and it will show you guys exactly how to overclock your graphics card. Just don't go too high. Even if you feel like it's at a sweet spot, put it down maybe 1% or 0.5%, just so you guys can make sure that the graphics card is running fine in games as well, because it might run fine on the benchmark but it might struggle in game. So just run it in game as well as the benchmark and just put it down a little bit until it hits that sweet spot. Hit that like button if you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button down below for more videos like this in the near future, and I hope to see you on my next one.